Good morning, dear students. How are you all? Today, in this video, we'll study about the chapter Structure of Atom. Children, you know that according to Dalton's atomic theory, atom is the smaller indivisible particle of matter. Atom is neither be created nor be destroyed. Atoms of the same elements are similar in size, mass, and characteristics. However, atoms of different elements have different size, mass, and characteristics. An atom is made up of three subatomic particles: electrons, protons, and neutrons. So, in this chapter, we'll study about the discoveries of these subatomic particles too. Many scientists were there who contributed in atomic theory. John Dalton was the scientist who gave his contribution towards atomic theory. Sir J. Thomson was the scientist who discovered electron. In 1885, Sir William Crookes carried out a series of experiments to study the behavior of metals heated in a vacuum using cathode ray tubes. A cathode ray tube consists of two metal electrodes in a partially evacuated glass tube. An evacuated tube is one from which most of the air has been removed. The negatively charged electrode is called cathode, whereas the positively charged electrode is called anode. First of all, it was thought by the scientists that on cathode side a slit was made and from anode side the rays were sent. They thought that it was only in their mind that in cathode side some deflection or glow will be there, but nothing happened so. So they changed it and they made the slit on cathode side and started doing same experiment towards it. Now the negatively charged electrode is called cathode, whereas the positively charged electrode is called anode. These electrodes are connected to a high voltage source. Such a cathode ray tube is shown in this picture. In this video you can see it was observed that when a very high voltage was passed across the electrodes in evacuated tube, the cathode produced a stream of particles, and these particles were glowing the side of anode. These particles were shown to travel from cathode to anode and they were called cathode rays. In the absence of external magnetic or electric field, these travel in straight line. In 1897, an English physicist, Sir J. Thomson, showed that the rays were made up of a stream of negatively charged particles. This conclusion was drawn from the experimental observations when the experiment was done in presence of an external magnetic or electric field. These rays travel in a straight line. In 1897, an English physicist, Sir J. Thomson, showed that the rays were made up of a stream of negatively charged particles. This conclusion was drawn from the experiment observations when the experiment was done in the presence of an external electric field. Now, when an opaque object like a metal cross is placed in the path of cathode rays in a discharge tube, a shadow of metal cross is formed at the end opposite to the cathode. The placement of the shadow proved that these rays followed a straight line, and these rays were turning towards the positive charge. It means the deflection was towards the positive charge when the magnetic or electric field was created in between. It shows that these were made of negatively charged particles. In this way, these cathode rays carry negative charge or are made of negatively charged particles, and they were called electrons. So, what conclusion was from here? So, conclusion was taken out from here that when these cathode rays they start from cathode, then they always move towards anode. These rays themselves are not visible, but their behavior can be observed with the help of certain kind of materials, fluorescent or phosphorescent, which glow when hit by them. In the absence of electric or magnetic field, these rays travel in straight line. In the presence of electric or magnetic field, the behavior of cathode rays is similar to that expected from negatively charged particles, suggesting that cathode rays consist of negatively charged particles called electrons. The characteristics of cathode rays or electrons do not depend upon the material of electrodes and the nature of gas present in the cathode ray tube. Thus, from here, we can conclude that electrons are basic constituent of all the atoms. So, children, that's all for today. Today, we studied how electrons were invented. In next video, we'll study about protons. Thank you. Have a nice day.